Tuesday night at 11 p.m. and we welcome you to Good Night LA. We are simulcast on our sister station, Fox 11 Plus. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Marla Tejas. We begin with an only on Fox 11. A suspected rapist has been arrested in a remote area of Azusa Canyon. Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards. She's there now with more on this. Chelsea.
Marla, sources tell us this was a dramatic rescue in a very remote area of the San Gabriel Mountains behind me. They say sheriff's deputies were able to save a woman who was being sexually assaulted inside a van, which they dubbed a rape dungeon on wheels. Take a look at where we are. So we're standing in Azusa, but you can see from this map, this is Highway 39. It's where it starts winding through the San Gabriel Mountains. And LA County Sheriff's officials say this happened about 6 miles north of where we are right now. That's near mile marker 21, right off of Highway 39. Now, sources tell us the alleged serial rapist had taken his 26-year-old victim to a dark turnout just off the highway. Sheriff's officials say deputies arrested that suspect around 11:30 last night. Now, there's absolutely no cell phone service up there. Again, it is an extremely remote area. That van or rape dungeon on wheels now part of the investigation. Now, officials say this case is now being handled by the Special Victims Bureau. And again, sources do say there could be more victims involved. This is a developing story, one we will keep you posted on. Reporting live from Azusa, I'm Chelsea Edwards. Marla, I'll send it back to you.
What a scary description of that van. Okay, Chelsea, thanks so much. Growing concern tonight about the danger on LA's metro transit system. This after yet another stabbing and some more violence. Fox 11's Ed Lascos, he's live in Glendale with the latest there. Ed.
And Marla, we are learning more this late hour about one of those 3 violent incidences that hit Metro in just the last 24 hours alone. This one goes down right here on the sidewalk. Actually, it ends here, but it starts on board a Metro bus. Let's get to it. To the video we go. This attack happens, well, about 24 hours ago. Witnesses tell us that 3 teenagers, 15, 16 years old, start to harass an elderly woman on the bus. And then they start to target a man in his 20s. He's coming home from work, riding the bus. There's a confrontation. They start fighting on the bus. They steal his backpack. The bus pulls over, and they run out with his backpack. He chases them. It ends here on the sidewalk. They start beating the man, stabbing the man several times. He is still alive. Lucky to be alive, his mother says. She's speaking out tonight. Still scared because one of the attackers is on the run. Doesn't want you to see her face. Doesn't want you to hear her actual voice, but she does want you to hear her plea to Metro to finally do something about safety. Listen.
We're scared for our lives now. I ride the bus myself, and when I'm inside, I'm like wondering who's gonna attack me, who's gonna come at me with a knife. And that was before this happened to my son. Just gonna create more fear, and it's creating fear. And we need to stop. We need to do something about it.
And that means increased patrols. That means increased ambassadors. That means considering our own police force that we can place in the particular hotspots.
And now that one of the Metro board members speaking out for all of this, doubling down on a call to add more safety. Another one of the Metro board members is the LA Mayor Karen Bass herself. Her office out with a statement after these 3 violent attacks, calling them, quote, absolutely unacceptable. The mayor, along with a lot of the other board members, saying that they're going to do more work together to add more safety measures, while that mother says her son is out of the hospital badly beaten, but she's, thank God, as she put it, he is still alive, and she just wants to see more safety for. She said the people who have no choice, they have to ride Metro to get to work, to school. They need to be safe. For now, we are live here in Glendale. Back to Good Night, LA.
That's the best point there. In fact, that they have no choice. This is not a choice. They rely on this to get to and from work. So important. Okay, Ed, thanks so much. Now, breaking news in Riverside County, where a manhunt is underway tonight for a suspect who shot at sheriff deputies during a pursuit. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department has confirmed no deputies were hit by that gunfire and no deputies shot at that suspect. An area of Harupa Valley near Pat's Ranch Road and 68th Street are blocked off. The public is being advised to steer clear of that area. New details tonight about a breaking news story we first brought you last night right here on Good Night LA. A 15-year-old driver was killed in this fiery crash on the 710 freeway in Long Beach. 3 other teens as young as 13 were injured. The CHP says they were tracking a stolen Kia when the teen driver made an unsafe turn and slammed into that big rig and caught fire. 2 suspects, armed and dangerous, robbed their victims of passports and phones before making their escape in a black Tesla But then there's a twist. Fox 11's Gina Silva is in Canoga Park with the very latest.
Those suspects are still on the run, and I have to tell you, there are a lot of unanswered questions in the story, including why the victims were taken into custody.
I just heard a lady scream, so I just went outside and called 911.
The screams were coming from this second-floor window of the Windsor Park townhomes in the 20,700 block of Roscoe Boulevard in Canoga Park.
She was outside the window. She was sticking outside of the window. Like, I thought like she was jumping out of the balcony.
The woman seen here with duct tape still stuck in her hair had just been through a terrifying robbery. Her next door neighbor, who asked us not to give out his name, went inside the woman's home. These two men were also inside, tied up with zip ties.
They were shaken up. They were scared. I mean, I would too. I mean, if you know, they had the guns.
The robbers struck on Monday night around 9 p.m. and did not leave the townhouse until Tuesday, close to 2 p.m. Neighbors couldn't believe it happened in their community.
They look very hurt, and, it's just shocking. Scary. We just bought here recently, so this is the first time anything like this has ever happened. I've never seen anything like this. It's just shocking. LAPD
officers spent hours collecting evidence inside the townhome. They brought out trash bags and this plastic storage container with suspicious white powder. Minutes later, the victims of the robbery were taken into custody in handcuffs, leaving everyone in the neighborhood confused.
I mean, I cannot even tell you that we have neighbors that we don't know what they're doing inside the house. And I have no clue what to even say. I'm kind of speechless right now.
Again, the armed suspects are still on the run. If you know anything about this case, contact the LAPD. Reporting from Canoga Park, I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
On to this tragic news now. Los Angeles County Sheriff's homicide detectives say tonight a missing 3-week-old baby is presumed dead. Family members say they have not seen little Baki DeWeese in more than 10 days, and they were hoping for a miracle. Investigators searched a landfill in Palmdale earlier today, but they didn't find anything. The baby's father and mother have been arrested in Utah on unrelated charges. Shohei Ohtani's former interpreter has pleaded not guilty to charges related to his alleged theft of millions of dollars from the baseball superstar. Ippei Mizuhara is charged with bank and tax fraud after being accused of stealing $17 million to pay off sports gambling debts. The not guilty plea is procedural. Mizuhara had reached a plea deal with federal prosecutors. His attorney said he will plead guilty at a later date. U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada talked about the case outside the courthouse.
The recordings where he had impersonated Mr. Ohtani between Mr. Mizuhara and the bookie in this case, only after being presented with that mountain of evidence did Mr. Mizuhara ultimately decide it was in his interest to plead guilty.
Federal authorities in Major League Baseball have cleared Ohtani of any involvement in Mizuhara's gambling. Tonight, a popular shopping center in Burbank has become a hotbed of crime. The Empire Center is one of the busiest and most successful retail destinations in Burbank. And Burbank police say half of the city's retail thefts happen at the Empire Center. The increase from 2022 to 23, 118%. The shopping center features Walmart, Target, Lowe's, and other retail stores and restaurants. Shoppers tell us it's concerning.
We do shop here frequently. It does alarm me. Burbank is supposed to be a very safe community.
We were at dinner last night, and our nephew, well, actually my grandson, had his work truck broken into. He's only a couple blocks from here.
Burbank police say they are working with retailers about crime prevention tactics, and there is talk of placing a police substation in that center. A lot more ahead on Good Night LA and our West Coast wrap. One California city is tired of all the hate speech during their council meetings, so they're doing something about it. Plus, this new video tonight of a plane catching fire at a gate while passengers were still on board. That and more, and here's Jonathan Novak.
All right, Marla, folks, had those clouds return at the end of the day, and it is once again a dreary and actually drizzly night. We'll talk about that drizzle, rain chances, and those temperatures, too, coming up in your 7-day outlook just a few minutes away.
Welcome back, everyone, to Good Night LA. Topping our West Coast wrap, a large pro-Palestinian protest outside a Google conference in the Bay Area today.
More money for Israel's crimes! Google is for genocide!
Yeah, some of the protesters blocked the main entrance to the Shoreline Amphitheater in Mountain View and delayed access for some conference attendees. The protesters demanding Google divest from Israel and end its involvement with the Israeli government and military. They also say they're against providing AI and cloud technology to Israel.
There is nothing that would bar the Israeli government from using these cloud services for military purposes.
Google is becoming more and more aggressive in their blatant endorsement of and decision to profit off of Israeli military settler colonial genocidal violence.
Last month, Google fired 28 employees for protesting the company's work on its cloud computing service, Project Nimbus. Google says it's not sending that tech to Israel. However, the protesters say they don't believe the company. Google has not yet commented on today's protest. Now, just up the peninsula from Mountain View, the Palo Alto City Council is dealing with anti-Semitism. They've had to listen to weeks of racist comments from the public via Zoom.
Unfortunately, First Amendment requires us to give these vile commenters a space to express their views, and so we're unable to cut them off before their time is through, no matter how.
That man there, Palo Alto Mayor Greer Stone, came his remarks during last night's meeting after several people called in using racial slurs targeting the Jewish, Muslim, and Black communities. At the vice mayor's suggestion, council members later voted to ban the public's ability to make a general comment via Zoom, although this decision was not unanimous.
If they want to show up here in person and do it, that's their right. But I think these technological advancements have had some unintended consequences.
I do have concerns that we're just excluding a group of people from our community that are not going to be able to comment this way.
People will still be allowed to comment via Zoom on specific agenda items, but not for general comments. A California man accused of raping a college student, then admitting to this assault in a Facebook message, has been detained in France. Investigators say Ian Cleary, who is from Saratoga, which is near San Jose, is being held in France tonight pending extradition proceedings. He was the subject of a years-long international search. Law enforcement in Pennsylvania say he stalked and sexually assaulted a Gettysburg College student in 2013. He was a student at the school at the time. In 2021, his accuser says she discovered a Facebook message that appeared to come from him. You see it here. The sender writing, quote, "So I raped you. I'll never do it again to anyone ever again. I need to hear your voice." All right, we have an update tonight to a story we brought you last night about an unusual twist in Washington's race for governor. Two men named Bob Ferguson have now both dropped out of the race after suddenly filing to run last week. Well, the two candidates joined the race to compete against Washington's current Democratic Attorney General, whose name is Bob Ferguson. A right-wing Republican activist said publicly he paid for the two last-minute entries. The Attorney General accused the GOP of trying to confuse voters and subvert the election. All right, new video captures the moment a Delta plane catches fire. Look at the nose of the plane, forcing passengers to evacuate. It happened last Monday at SeaTac Airport near Seattle. The Airbus jet had just arrived from Cancun when that fire sparked near the nose. Delta says the flight crew saw smoke in the nose area after plugging into ground electrical power. Passengers were in the process of deplaning, and Delta says out of an abundance of caution, those who were still on board, as you see on the left, they were evacuated using slides. A University of California Board of Regents panel today approved a plan for UCLA to pay UC Berkeley $10 million a year because the Bruins are leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. The money, which some are calling Calamoni will go to help the Golden Bears athletic programs. The payments will start this coming school year. The Special Committee on Athletics said they will review the payment plan after 3 years. Now, initially, the money was to be paid for the length of the Big Ten's current TV contract, which goes to 2030. The WNBA continues to grow in popularity. Thank you, Caitlin Clark. And that has allowed the league to expand starting next year. The San Francisco Bay Area will get an expansion team, the Golden State Valkyries. They will play at San Francisco's Chase Center, where the Warriors play. The team's general manager says she's excited to be a part of it.
It's powerful. I'm going to be a part of a lot of firsts with this organization. I'm so excited to get to know what this name means, and I'm leaning in 100%. My whole self is going to be devoted to the team.
So the team's logo honors both San Francisco and Oakland, where they will practice, united by the Bay Bridge. And in case you didn't know, a Valkyrie is a female figure in Norse mythology who chooses the fate of warriors in battle. This brand is Golden State's modern interpretation of Valkyries. Strong, bold, and fierce. They're the first expansion team in the league since 2008. All right, still ahead. Kelly Clarkson's huge weight loss. One expert weighs in on this new trend of using drugs to drop the pounds. Stay tuned. When Good Night LA returns, we'll have that. Talk show host and singer Kelly Clarkson came clean about her weight loss journey, and her admission is getting a whole lot of attention. Anyone who's watched the Kelly Clarkson show this season noticed she's lost quite a bit of weight, reportedly 60 pounds. Well, during an interview with Whoopi Goldberg on Monday, after months of speculation, she revealed she is taking a weight loss medication, but it's not Ozempic. No word yet on what she is taking, but about this new trend, here's one health and fitness expert's take.
But this is the first time that someone's been able to walk in and say, hey, give me the shot that makes me skinny. And there's actually a shot for that. And so even for my partner and I, this took us by surprise because we've always preached diet, lifestyle, and exercise.
Carlton Washington, co-founder of Forever Young Anti-Aging Solutions, with us at 6 o'clock, says if you're going to use drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, he recommends doing so to jumpstart your weight loss and then switch to what he prefers, and that's a lifestyle that includes a healthy diet, proper sleep, and exercise. All right.
Good Night LA weather is sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino.
It's exhausting doing all those in the twist in that video. All right, let's take a look at our weather here from today. This is a little earlier on, of course, from our LAX camera. Notice the clouds. Well, we had a brief period of time where we had sun at the airport, but then, the marine layer back at the end of the day made for a nice sunset. But what it also will make for tomorrow is some drizzle possibilities in the morning, and not just there at the coast, but also inland. Now, today we hit 78 in Pasadena. It was a little cooler in places in the Inland Empire, and places around the high desert were right near 90 degrees. We hit 89 in Palm Springs, just shy of 100 degrees. So actually a little cooler in all those spots compared to yesterday. Downtown officially came in at the end of the day at 71, which was just a degree above yesterday's high, but still below average. And if you look back here for the month and you include today, every day but one has been at or below normal for the month of May. And so it's been a cool month so far, and we're going to continue that trend maybe until at least the next 7 to 10 days. It looks that way. Tonight, cloudy in Ontario, so the marine layer back all the way inland. And it looks like Pasadena tonight at 62, Ontario at 58 under those cloudy skies. Big Bear, good evening, 43 for you right now. And that satellite and radar picture, nothing on the scope, no green on the screen, but that could change. And I mentioned the drizzle, but also maybe some showers and possibly a storm tomorrow. The setup looks like this on the big scope, the synoptic scale, which means the large features in the atmosphere. Off to the east, a couple of systems affecting the portions of the country east of the mountains, the Rocky Mountains. You can see here the high pressure area to our west wants to make it here, but unfortunately we have this trough that is bringing that onshore flow back into Southern California for the next several days. And here's the rain chance that I mentioned going into Wednesday afternoon and early evening, mainly for the high desert and the mountain areas. Possibly, if something does form, could drift into the valley spots or the Inland Empire there at the end of the day. But I think the chance at 20% is pretty low. Don't bet on it, but I would say if something forms, then yeah, you could get a sprinkle or two to end off your Wednesday. I'm going to pull the chance on Thursday, though, for those areas, and we'll just keep it at 76 on Thursday, and then we'll warm it up for Friday before the numbers fall again into the weekend. In fact, I have some drizzle area-wide on Sunday as another trough moves in to Southern California. The mountains, a 10 to 20% chance of some showers tomorrow, 69 degrees for a high. 2 days in the 70s and back into the 60s thereafter. The high desert at around 90 degrees for the next several afternoons, and then cooler next week. Same in Palm Springs, 100 degrees again on Thursday, coming up for a few more days. It's kind of getting toasty there in the low desert. That's your forecast, everybody. Marla, back to you.
Some like it hot.
Yeah,
Jonathan.
that's true.
Okay, thanks. Here's a look at what's coming up tomorrow on Good Day LA.
Thanks for watching Good Night LA.
Coming up tomorrow on Good Day LA, it started as a little restaurant in Costa Mesa, but now there are 60 of them all around the country. Our celebration of AAPI heritage continues with the founders of Wahoo's.
Plus, actor, TV host, singer, Emmy winner, Grammy nominee Adrienne Bailon Houghton does it all. She'll be here live in studio tomorrow morning. We have all that and more. See you tomorrow, starting at 4 a.m.
Finally tonight, let's all celebrate the birthday of Macaroni the dog. Look at this. A viewer in Sausalito up in the Bay Area sent this video to our sister station in Oakland, thinking we all might enjoy seeing their dog's birthday party, and they were right. This is Macaroni riding the carousel at the Northgate Mall in San Rafael. He just turned 8 years old, and he's clearly a big old ham. For the camera, just check out that look over his shoulder as he rides around. That, by the way, is his sister, Sydney. He just doesn't even get dizzy, apparently. He's a good boy indeed. Happy birthday to Macaroni. He deserves some of that San Francisco treat, right? Rice-a-roni deserves some macaroni. Get it? Okay, that does it for us at 11 o'clock. Thanks for being with us. Good night, LA.